Tonight, CBC News obtains chilling police audio of a confrontation between OPP and a man alleged to have kidnapped his son, giving a glimpse into what happened that day almost 2 years ago that left the man and his son dead and 3 officers now charged. Plus,
that's a mother that showed incredible love to put her own life at risk to save her son.
A Brampton mother is honored by her city, receiving a bravery award for chasing off a group of men attacking her son with an axe and a machete. And
the last thing we need is to start off the school year with the kind of chaos that we've experienced over the last 2 years.
Ontario's 2 largest teachers' unions expressing concerns over the new COVID-19 guidelines that no longer require students or staff to isolate if they test positive. Good evening. I'm Kelda Yoon. CBC News Toronto has obtained chilling new audio tonight, capturing the confrontation between OPP officers and a man alleged to have abducted his child in the Kawartha Lakes area nearly 2 years ago. The police recording casting new light on the moments before officers opened fire. And when it was over, the man and his 18-month-old son would be dead. Now, 3 officers are facing charges in the shooting death of the child. Ali Chiasson has the story. And a warning, some of the details in the story may be disturbing.
It's a Toyota Tundra. It's rust in color.
OPP officers are following the speeding truck being driven by 33-year-old William Shapiro.
Still westbound Pigeon Lake Road, maintaining his lane, speeds 144.
Shapiro's truck was the vehicle of interest in an alleged child abduction of his own son, 18-month-old Jameson.
Just to confirm again. Just be advised, there's a child in that vehicle. There's a child in the vehicle.
He's pretty desperate. He had a gun to his head. Just make sure if he tries to go straight into your cruiser or something, just make sure you got some sort of cover, buddy.
The pursuit carries on.
Just blew the stop sign at Fox's Corner, still westbound.
10-4, give him lost space.
The responding officers are on the line with a dispatcher as the situation grows increasingly tense.
I've got a negotiator on standby to contact him.
Less than 2 minutes later, a crash. 20 seconds later, gunshots.
It's impossible to tell from the audio alone where the gunshots were coming from, but we do know that in the aftermath, an OPP officer was seriously injured. 18-month-old Jameson was shot and killed, and his father would eventually die a week later in hospital from a gunshot wound that he sustained that morning. Now, this audio gives us an idea of what happened, but there are still so many unanswered questions, and it will be up to the courts to draw any conclusions. And the 3 OPP officers will be in the courtroom in October. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
2 more men are now facing charges in a violent kidnapping in Hamilton last year that left 1 person dead. Investigators arresting the 2 suspects yesterday. It all stems from a kidnapping last September in Hamilton's Mount Hope neighborhood. 21-year-old Hasnain Ali and his brother were shot while trying to protect their father from kidnappers. Hasnain died from his injuries. Their father, 63-year-old Fakir Ali, was later found severely beaten but survived. On Wednesday, investigators arrested 25-year-old John Barley and 35-year-old Gino McCall, both of Hamilton. They're facing first-degree murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, and aggravated assault charges. Another man was charged in the case last year. Police are still investigating the motive behind the attack, but indicated earlier that money was involved. A Brampton mother is being hailed a hero tonight, given the Bravery Award by the city's mayor. A 61-year-old Jasmel man fended off multiple armed men who were brutally attacking her son outside their home last month. The son saying if it weren't for his mother, he might not have survived. Greg Ross has more.
I'm a hero. And Jasmel Man now has a certificate from the city of Brampton to prove it. Honored today, less than a month after confronting 3 men who were attacking her son in the driveway of their home. It was captured on security camera as the men used a machete and an axe, causing serious bodily harm to Jody Man just seconds after he got into his car.
They have a security camera system, and she saw that there were some individuals in the driveway.
Translating through Brampton North MP Ruby Zahota, Man tells us when she realized what was happening, she ran out of her house and began screaming at her son's attackers.
Yeah. So she feels they got scared by the fact that she had said that she had called the police in that moment.
Men actually hadn't called police, but family members were able to call 911 shortly after the attackers fled, quickly getting her son the medical attention he needed.
She has shown bravery that puts everyone else to shame.
And that is why Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown said City Council unanimously voted to give Mann this award.
And we thought we'd recognize what was beautiful in the midst of that adversity, and that's a mother that showed incredible love to put her own life at risk to save her son.
Mann says while she appreciates the sentiment, her ultimate goal is to see her son's attackers brought to justice.
She wants the attackers to be found. She says that, who are those people that could be so inhumane?
At this point, police have not been able to find the men responsible. That investigation is still ongoing. In the meantime, Jody Mann, the son of this brave woman, returned home from hospital last week. He tells us that he still has a long way to go in his recovery. He says his wounds are not fully healed. He needed more than 180 stitches after this attack. He lost the big toe on his right foot. But the important thing is he's still alive, and he says he has his mother to thank for that.
Mom, she gave me a second birth. She's so strong and brave mother for me. My mom saved my life. Otherwise, how they attacked on me, I don't think so I'm survived.
Mann tells us that this attack is still a mystery to him. He has no idea why those three men approached him in his driveway or why they attacked him the way they did. Greg Ross, CBC News, Brampton, Ontario.
Let's go to Kim McDonald now from the Weather Network for a first look at your forecast. And Kim, what you got for us?
Kelda, September 1st. It marks the first day of meteorological fall. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And why? Why is it not the same as the calendar? Well, because astronomical fall is based on the Earth and how it's relative to the sun, whereas meteorological fall has to do with weather more than anything. June, July, and August, that summer. September, October, November is fall. And it's just so much easier to keep stats because, of course, with the calendar, we see the date change. First day of fall could be September 19th or September 23rd. Looking back at August, 25 days above normal, 9 days we saw rain, and that brought us up to what's normal. We didn't have normal precipitation in July or June or May, but we did in August, which is nice. Nice clear night ahead, temperatures around 15, 16 degrees, 17 for the morning, plenty of sunshine, and I'll be back to tell you more.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Kim. Today is the first day that children aged 5 to 11 can get their COVID-19 booster shot. One of the locations administering the doses isn't exactly the first place that comes to mind when you think of vaccines. Lauren Redkop has more on a city's vaccination outreach plan.
For some, this is what getting a boost at the X looks like. For the thrill seekers, maybe this. But this year, there's also a much different option. Ellis Ackerman is 6 years old. Here, for the first day, she can get her booster shot. She gives dose 3 the thumbs up.
This was a very good one because I got a bouncy ball and some crayons.
Her mom was happy to have it done before school starts.
My husband's immunocompromised, and so we've gotten all of ours like the first week we could. Yeah. Okay. Just keep it. We've also had COVID in our house twice, like most families, so we're just trying to stay on top of it.
It's happening less than a week before back to school. Good timing, according to Toronto Public Health.
The effect of the booster dose is readily available even a week, 7 days after the booster dose. It doesn't take quite that full 2 weeks as it does for the first 2 doses.
Another change announced by the chief medical officer yesterday, you no longer have to isolate for 5 days after being infected with COVID. Just 24 hours after symptoms improve, then mask for 10 days after you first tested positive. Some people aren't sure about that.
If you got a cold and you got COVID, you give it to somebody else who's got a weak immune system, it just seems like it's not the right thing to do. Just stick with the 5 days, it's fine. Wear a mask when you go on a plane, it's fine.
Making sure to take precautions, a mask, that makes all the difference.
I think if you're sick at the end of the day, you should stay home, but I have no problem with the 5 days being lifted.
All as kids are enjoying their last few days of summer. Many excited about back to school, but not really with COVID top of mind right now.
I mean, I've thought of it, but it's sort of just like I should be just grateful to even go to school, so I'm pretty happy to go back.
The X isn't the only site where you can come and get a vaccine this long weekend, whether it's a booster or any other dose. The Toronto Dragon Festival in Nathan Phillips Square is also holding a pop-up, and that's in addition to any of the other more permanent vaccination clinics. Lorenda Redicomp, CBC News, Toronto.
As Lorenda mentioned, the province is removing isolation guidelines for people who test positive for COVID-19. Now, the reaction to that announcement has been mixed, and tonight, two of Ontario's teachers' unions are expressing concern, especially with back to school under a week away. Dale Manukduk has more.
We know that an uninterrupted routine of in-person school is important to the social and emotional development of children and youth.
That was Dr. Kieran Moore, Ontario's top doctor, yesterday, explaining in part why there's no longer a mandatory isolation requirement for those who test positive for COVID-19. Instead, it's a green light to return 24 hours after symptoms have improved. The new guidance is not sitting well with Ontario's two major teachers' unions.
You know, we've got thousands of students coming back to schools next week. And, you know, the last thing we need is to start off the school year with the kind of chaos that we've experienced over the last 2 years.
The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario and the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation are both concerned the new protocol will lead to rapid spread of the virus and cause disruptions to learning. They're also questioning the timing of the announcement, even though they're used to it.
School boards will be struggling again to figure out how they're going to message this, how they're going to make sure that everyone has the information that they need. We shouldn't be doing all of these things at the last minute. It really makes it hard when we're going into a change anyways.
The difference between the prior protocol and this protocol is probably minimal.
This infectious diseases specialist argues the change is negligible.
Many are still transmissible after 5 days. So even if with the old policy, people could theoretically be coming out of their isolation period while transmissible to others. The new policy is no different.
Like Dr. Moore, Dr. Isaac Bogosh says that mask wearing will be key in preventing an expected increase in COVID-19 cases. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
And you're sure to see more backpacks and buses on our streets come Tuesday morning for the return of school. And along with it, a new amber red light warning system on school buses to increase safety.
On a bus, and we need to prevent injury and do everything humanly possible to protect the lives of our drivers and of course our kids.
You'll see the amber lights come on before the red lights. You'll know that the bus is coming to a stop, just like a stoplight. And once you finally see those red lights come on, it's no longer safe to pass the bus.
This is the first year amber lights on school buses will be on the roads. Lecce adds that so far 16,000 buses have been retrofitted to have the new system, and 2,000 more will be completed by October 3rd. Welcome back. A well-known funeral home in Toronto is being told to pay back years' worth of fees after catching the attention of the Bereavement Authority of Ontario. Benjamin's Park Memorial Chapel in North York is a mainstay in the city's Jewish community. A grieving father says he was shocked by a 10% fee being charged on memorial donations when his son died earlier this year.
Those funds, to my knowledge, are still sitting in their bank account, and it pains me. Instead of focusing on grieving and healing, we have to relieve every time we deal with this some very, very, very painful moments.
He filed a lawsuit and made a complaint to the province's Bereavement Authority. It found that even though the fee was in the contract he signed, it hadn't been communicated clearly. The Bereavement Authority of Ontario says other homes generally charge much less. The funeral home was told to pay back 6 years' worth of the 10% fees, something it's planning to fight in court. The funeral home says for the time being, it won't be taking the 10% fee on donations. And we are learning more tonight about the product that sent a dozen people to hospital after eating at a restaurant in Markham. As Meg Roberts reports, health officials have released more details tonight and are issuing a warning to the public.
Public Health says Delight Restaurant and Barbecue has been given the green light to reopen when the owners are comfortable. But as of today, the doors remain locked. Now, York Public Health is warning people of 2 spices that were served here over the weekend that sent a dozen people to hospital. Officials say this galanga powder by a brand called Mr. Right was contaminated with aconite, a substance that can severely affect the nervous system and can be deadly if ingested in large quantities, as well as Erratic's Aconite Kuznetsovy powder by the same brand. It can be used as a traditional herbal medicine, but is not as commonly found in food.
We're still sort of working out the details of what exactly happened, trying to rule out all the different possibilities. But the leading theory right now anyways is that there could have been some mislabeling involved.
According to the back of the Mr. Right package, the importer of the spices is located here behind me in Markham. We went inside and spoke with an employee who says they've given all the information they can to health authorities, but did not want to do an interview. Public Health says they believe the product has been removed from all shelves in the area and that the general public should not be concerned. Although the incident caused 12 people to end up in hospital, 4 requiring intensive care, York Public Health says they will not be fining or charging any businesses for this incident.
Every person we worked with, every institution, restaurant, retailer, supplier, all of that, were very cooperative. And like I said, we have sort of confidence that they've done everything they can do to take actions.
Public Health say they're pleased to report only 1 person is left in hospital out of the 12 who were originally admitted. Meg Roberts, CBC News, Markham.
A big drop in the price of gas overnight is being welcomed by drivers.
I was filling up at least once every couple of days. It was like $120, $130. Now, at least with the lower gas prices, it's down to about $100, which is still high, but a lot better.
I just want to see it go back down where we could go places and don't have to worry about filling up and don't worry about the money too much, It's at the point too much you can't go anywhere you want to go.
The price for a liter dropped 7 cents overnight to just under $1.52 a liter. That's the lowest it's been since mid-January. And if you can wait a little longer, it's expected to continue falling. Tomorrow, it will drop another 2 cents a liter. You are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline. Clear skies tonight and staying that way overnight. Temperatures a little cooler than previous nights. Currently, it is 19 degrees in the city. All right, let's go back to Kim McDonald from the Weather Network with a more detailed look at your forecast. And Kim, the long weekend almost upon us. Hopefully, it's looking good.
If you have plans to, say, hit the X, Friday, Monday, both good days. See, there's my teaser. What's normal for this time of year? 23.5. We're about 24 today. 27 is what we're expecting for tomorrow. Temperatures are slowly going to creep up. Our record for this day, 1953, 36.7 degrees. It was hot. 27 to me. Nice day. Perfect. It's going to feel a little bit warmer, closer to 32. So we've got a tiny bit of humidity, but not a whole lot. We'll start to feel it more on Saturday, however. The UV will be at 7 on Friday. So yeah, slap on the sunscreen. It's not high or extreme, but it's in the middle somewhere. This is on Saturday. Cold front is coming through. The humidity will be quite high by Saturday. It'll feel closer to that 38, 37, sticky. You get a cold front coming through, the leading edge of cooler air, clashing with this hot, sticky air mass, and you get showers and even thunderstorms popping up. So that's likely through Saturday afternoon. This is the next 3 days. So Friday, the best day when we take it to Sunday. Sunday, much cooler, 22, but we still have some showers in the forecast left over as that front moves through. So that tends to be the case. It lingers the instability in the atmosphere, and that's what we're looking at. Oshawa Friday and Saturday, both looking good. Same thing for Hamilton Friday and Saturday. So if you're traveling or you live in these cities, it'll be just fine. Here's the 7-day forecast for Toronto. Friday, again, sunshine, your best day. Feels like 32. If you like it that warm, then it gets hot and sticky on Saturday. Cold front comes through, drops temperatures, 22 on Sunday. And then Monday, we've got generally a mix of sun and clouds. So that's looking good. Sunlight, hours of sunlight in the day, 9 hours for Friday. Saturday, I don't know. I think that's a little bit optimistic. Those thunderstorms could come in later in the day, though, and you might squeak out a pretty decent afternoon if we miss them.
All right. Thanks so much, Kim. In 1961, the CBC's June Callwood visited a social nudism camp. At the time, the practice was just beginning to become popular. A flash forward to today, a naturist resort in East Gwillimbury is celebrating 50 years of living in the buff. We paid them a visit for their golden anniversary.
And what about you, Marlies? Well, how did you become interested? Through Carl, in nudism, in social nudism, but without knowing that there were any clubs at all.
In 1972, Eric and June Jarvis bought the land because they wanted to develop, but they used the term nudist at the time, a nudist park. And it's gone through a variety of iterations. We've been very successful in attracting people of all ages, including youth, because especially since we're going back to naturism as a movement, as an ideology.
I was a little shy to come, didn't have some friends that would join with me, so I just jumped the gun and just dived right in.
A lot of the people generally judge you because of what clothes you're wearing, what car you're driving, and here, as soon as you start to take your clothes off, there's none of that.
Connect with nature, connect with really good people, and enjoy ourselves as we are.
In fact, you can even be a naturist when you're fully dressed walking out in the mainstream world, because you then see advertising and you see the push towards achieving certain fashion as really perverse, because you understand that that's not who we really are deep down. It's a way to be more natural. It may not be normal, but it is the way we've been designed. So it is the more natural way, hence the word naturism.
Finally tonight, the Canadian International Air Show is taking to the sky this weekend. We got a preview of the planes and met up with some of the pilots earlier today.
We take everybody straight out of combat units that are training F-35s to go into combat, and we take them for 2 years, send them to air shows, about 25 locations a year. But getting to travel around the country as well as come internationally is really special for my guys, just to take the airplane on the road.
It's the largest and longest running air show in Canada. These military jets and vintage warbirds will be soaring through the sky, performing aerobatics and other impressive maneuvers. They'll be performing throughout the long weekend from noon to 3 p.m., one of the last big events to close out the CNE. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night.